I feel tons of limitations. The biggest limitation in writing music is your heart and your mind and the state of your being at the moment. It's the hardest thing. It still is. It's every record I do, I'm always thinking, would at any time something pops in your head that starts with you can't do that, or you can't do that with a guitar, or that'll never work with those chords or something. That's the thing that that's the fence I have to kick down immediately. It's the wall that I can't build. It has to get knocked down right away, and I actually should go in that direction. Try to wrestle that. So there are always limitations, and I know that they'll get worse. Physically, they have to get worse. I'm not, 16 years old. I don't have 27-year-old arms anymore. So there's going to be challenges physically, but I think the mental one has always been the biggest one. It's that personal, I don't want to say it's pressure. What is it? It's an internal dialogue. Your brain comes up with excuses that eventually will lead you to the couch with a beer and a bag of potato chips if you let it. Your body just wants to not do anything. If given the choice, we will have a good time over actually working hard to achieve something. It's a sad state of being a human being. So you just have to work on that part of you that says, no, I don't want to sit on the couch and do nothing. I want to get up and do something. And even if it's a complete burnout, failure, and everybody sees me fail, I'm going to do it anyway. So that's what I try to embrace. It helps if there are no tragedies directly that you have to deal with. Physical problems will get in the way. If I strain my hand doing something, then I can't play, then I have to figure out another way to work. If you're physically not in an environment where it's conducive to collect your thoughts and your emotions, that can be a problem. Too much activity around, I often don't write on tour because I'm too receptive to all this activity that's going on. It's so exciting. I just kind of want to be part of all of it. But to write, I have to kind of internalize what I've been experiencing, and I have to sort of think about it, take it apart and rebuild it, and develop opinions about it before I can turn it into, I think, a piece of music to represent that emotion so that I can elicit that from the audience. And I generally find that, I may write a piece here and there as I'm traveling around, but it's usually when I'm at home and I have that one job, which is to come up with an album's worth of songs, that I feel like it's the best place to be, to do that. It's usually because you have to. At some point, the schedule has to be put in motion. If you're going to record with other musicians, you've got to book them, and if you're going to do it at a studio, you have to book it. And before you know it, there's a date on your calendar. So that's when you know when you got to finish, which is a good thing, because you never finished, right? You just abandon. That's what it is, right? That's someone's famous quote, right? Art is never finished, it's abandoned. Is it Michelangelo who said that or something like that? So you get used to that after a while, that it's okay, because for me, I've got the tour, which is fantastic. Tonight I'm going to be able to go out and work on Surfing with the Alien again. After 30 years, I still get another crack at it to see if I can improve upon it. And so that takes away all that anxiety of, the definitive version reflecting on you. Like, we've heard that version and now we think you suck because that's the only version that will ever represent you, The world is not like that, but a musician will think that way when they've got 1 hour left in the studio and they're finishing an album. They just think, oh my God, this whole thing sucks and everyone's going to know and they'll never talk to me again. I was in a unique situation where I recorded almost 3 studio records without ever having set foot on a stage as an instrumental artist. I had no band, I had no act. And so finishing the album, Surfing with the Alien, I still was thinking that, you know, it would be the last record the label would let me record for them, and that I would just go back to teaching guitar and I wouldn't be ever playing it live. So in one way that was great, because I never let the idea of the live performance change the way I recorded something. Like, I never thought like, well, I shouldn't record it like this because I can never do that live. I just thought, I'm making a record. The record is the art form, so I'm not going to let anything change that. And besides, I'm nobody. I don't even have a tour. I don't have a band. So why even worry about it, right? And then a few months later, the record company calls and says, you know, you should put a band together and go out on tour. And so suddenly there I am doing something at 30 years old that I'd never really prepared for. Very interesting. I don't think you ever have to think about the audience. I don't think it's a good idea. First of all, you can never know what they're thinking. You just can't. And besides, it's not your job. Well, see, I've got plenty of these great maxims that came from people I respect. It was Glenn Johns, a great producer, who once told me in that wonderful accent, he said, Joseph, it's not your job to decide what people will like and what they won't like. It seems like a perfectly obvious statement, but it was one of those things where in the middle of a record where you're, you know, obsessing about one little corner of a song and one little thing, and you might say something and your producer may look at you like, why is this guy all caught up in this? He should just be out there being a crazy guitar player. And that was his way of reminding me of doing that. And it was so true. And of course I knew it, but I'd forgotten at that moment. And that's what's great about working with people, is that when someone taps you on the shoulder and tell you to relax, you know, just be yourself. Very, very important. I think, again, you can't guess what they want, so don't even bother. I don't think they want you to. They just want you to be yourself, but you have to accept the fact that it's okay for them not to like you if they don't like you. You know what I mean? That's just part of the deal. They don't have to like you. And you don't have to take it personally. It's almost like you don't want to talk too much about it because you won't get anything out of it. It's just like the musician's job is to play music, not to think about what the audience might or might not like. You know, maybe a producer can think about that.